Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's impossible not to be touched, not to be moved by these images. I've been part of the M100 for a number of years now, and in its 18-year history, I've seen many, many deserving individuals and groups come up here and receive the prize. But I think I speak for all when I say no winner probably in the history of the prize has been more deserving than the Ukrainian people, whose resilience, courage, and bravery are being shown and being displayed on a daily basis. And I think that deserves a great round of applause. Sehr geehrter Herr Bundeskanzler, vielen Dank für Ihre keynote. Thank you very much, of course, for your keynote, and once again for reiterating your strong support for the Ukrainian people. But Germany's support is one thing. Without American support, obviously this fight probably could not be fought in the way it is being fought. Washington's support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity has been steadfast and unwavering, and therefore it is my great pleasure indeed to welcome now on stage somebody who's been taking up her post since February, so relatively new, but we're delighted to have you here during these tumultuous times. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the U.S. Ambassador to Germany, Ambassador Amy Goodman. Thank you, Ambassador.
Chancellor Scholz, Your Excellencies, and ladies and gentlemen, it is a true privilege to join you in honoring the Ukrainian people for their courage and their heroic fight for a future that's rooted in dignity, decency, and democracy. Across Ukraine, people are courageously defending nothing less than the right to a fairer, freer, more prosperous country. And I hope you will permit me to speak from my heart as well as my head tonight. September is back to school time. According to my mother, I sharpened my pencils early in August, being so eager to go back to school. For millions of Ukrainian children, the first day of school this year was not one of excitement. It was anything but one of excitement. It was just a confirmation of the bleak season of war. This for children. I learned from my father, who fled Nazi Germany, and from my experience as a teacher, a scholar, and a university leader, that education goes far beyond reading, writing, and arithmetic. Education at its best effectively empowers us to stand up for our convictions and our commitments. That is why tyrants lose no time in taking control of schools. I was always excited to go to school because having no one in my family who ever could graduate college and coming from a very low-income family, I knew that education was the key to opportunity, not just for myself, but for my entire family. Russian bombs have wantonly damaged and destroyed thousands of Ukrainian schools. Almost half of the nation's 6 million children, half of those children have been brutally forced from their homes, far away from their fathers, whose lives are on the front lines. 2 million children are estimated to be living outside Ukraine. They're either logging on to school remotely or doing their best at integrating into classes taught in foreign languages. On behalf of my country, I thank Poland, and I thank Germany, and I thank all the countries in Europe for all they're doing for Ukrainian students and their refugee families. And I say we should give them all of our appreciation. This is one of the many critically important ways, humanitarian, economic, and military, that Germany is aiding Ukraine in their defense of democracy. We must never forget those children. The Ukrainian people are on the front lines of the battle for democracy. Russia's war of aggression in Ukraine is one of the many conflicts around the globe where our basic democratic freedoms are threatened. To defend democracy, 3 words, to defend democracy, that is the defining challenge of our time. The courage of the Ukrainian people today builds on the efforts of all those who over the past 3 decades have dedicated their lives to strengthening democracy, to fighting corruption, and to defending a sovereign and free Ukrainian state. Every day since February 24th, the Ukrainian people have demonstrated their courageous commitment to these values, and the world has taken note. As President Biden and Chancellor Scholz both have emphasized, we will be with the Ukrainian people for as long as it takes for them to win. We will be there. Just as the Ukrainian people surprised Putin, as President Biden has said, they also inspired the world with their sacrifice, grit, and battlefield success. An even stronger Ukraine will emerge from this conflict. We say to all who would try to divide us, you will not succeed. You will not succeed. You will only bring us even closer together because we are absolutely united in our mutual defense of democratic sovereignty and the freedom of our citizens. We shall not waver in our support for the Ukrainian people in their fight for freedom. They are also fighting for us. A democratic, prosperous, and secure Ukraine is in all our interest. Neither the US, nor Germany, nor any country is truly secure unless we come together to respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations and the human rights and fundamental freedoms of all people. No country alone can address the enormous threats we face. President Biden knows this, and we as a country are acting and doing our best to ally with everybody who is willing to do the right thing for our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. Only a free and open world and only free and open societies can effectively cooperate to develop and deploy the innovation needed to live up, to face our greatest challenges. Among those challenges are developing reliable and sustainable energy sources, addressing the impact of climate change, combating food insecurity, and tackling the threat of global pandemics. The proof of this, free societies share their discoveries. And an area where our sanctions are hurting Russia the most is its lack of access to critically important technology from the US and Europe. We have responded to Russia's invasion of Ukraine with unity of purpose and action.